Normally when I get the chance to speak about creation and Big Bang, I normally get between an hour and an hour and a half. So I like to say in conclusion, the following concept. Judaism teaches the idea of creation, that there is a creator, and therefore by definition there is a purpose. If one reads through the 31 verses of Genesis chapter 1 through chapter 2, one finds that there's very little information, and the information that is there is almost impossible. It's as if God says to Moses, this is how I did it. For further information, please take physics and chemistry 101. And just to give an example, it says in the beginning God creates the universe, God creates the world, and it was full of light, and God separates the light from darkness. Explained to many commentators, this does not make sense, because by definition, what is light? What is darkness? The absence of light. So how can there be darkness and light? What does it mean that God splits the heavens from the high heavens from the lower heavens? How can it be that there's life on earth in day 3, when only in day 4 do we have the appearance of the sun? So things are a bit confused. But I'd like to share with you that the relationship between science and religion, it actually enhances us, it helps us. Everyone knows the most famous equation in the world, E equals mc squared. What exactly that means, how Einstein developed it, I have no idea. But what I can say is follows, is that E equals mc squared helped me to understand Genesis chapter 1. Let me explain to you. When one looks in the ancient Jewish traditions, it states as follows, how did God make the world? Says one of the key commentators of the 13th century, a man by the name of Nachmanides. He says, I will explain to you, and you'll have no idea what I'm talking about, but those who are perceptive and are deeply skilled in the sciences and the mystics will understand exactly what I'm talking about. He explains like this. In essence, God was everywhere. In order for God to make a physical world, God has to constrict a bit of himself. Into this little gap, God injects a beam of light, which forms a piece of matter no bigger than the size of a mustard seed. And from that piece of matter, the entire universe comes into being. He writes this in the 13th century. People look at this and go, what the earth is this guy talking about? It makes no sense. And yet, when I walk into a science class in year 9, they say, duh, of course. Right? Because if we take E equals mc squared, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, in essence, Einstein's equation, if we swap it around, what is light? Mass, energy. You can work out how, which is on top. But in essence, light is matter, matter is light. And science, and that's what the Bible is saying. Furthermore, with their scientific discoveries, the particle accelerator in the CERN, when they try to find the God particle, in essence they've taken that and they smash it down, they find it into neutrons, etc., they break those down, quarks, muons, etc., etc. And then what is the basic building mass of everything? Light. Unbelievable. Genesis chapter 1 says, how does God make the world? It's a bare piece of light. How do we look at the world? We see light. So in essence, the relationship between science and religion should not be that far apart. Through science, it helps you understand the text. And through the text, I'm able to understand, to use the science in a positive way. Because as mentioned in the audience, we are a dangerous creature, humanity. We have the ability to create incredible energy, but to also use that to destroy. Religion is meant to give us the basis. And thus, the creator of the universe gives us 2 books, according to Jewish tradition. The universe and the Torah. How do you find God? You can find God in science. You can find God in the world around you. The magnificence of creation, by the biology, the birth of a child. You can see God. You can see the miracle. The fact that we are here, this little speck of blue in a sea, it's around trillions of stars. I like to quote Carl Sagan as well. I think it was Sagan or Clark. I can't remember the Clark. Say like this, right? Don't forgive me. Either there is a life out there, or there isn't. Both options are equally scary. And the other thing he said was, the fact that the world is expanding and everyone seems to be going away from us should be telling us something too. So in terms of Jewish tradition, we have no problem. In fact, we embrace the scientific model. Because through the scientific model, it helps me to understand what God was trying to say in those 31 verses of Genesis. We expand that into Genesis chapter 2, with the origin of man. It's as such, big picture, and now a big focus on the little guy, man, and what he's supposed to do. And it's interesting. What religion was Adam? Adam believed in God.
Thank you.